Well, I'm shooting this Sunday morning and I'm freezing my ass off because it's like 40 degrees outside. I got a couple space heaters on and shit, but ooh, it's fucking cold. But let's get to some really weird cinema and a really bad double feature called Quadroon and the Velvet Trap. Do not waste your money on this fucking thing, no matter how cheap it is. I was interested in seeing Quadroon because I hadn't seen it theatrically, and obviously it never got up my way, which is probably a plus. Because honestly, they're comparing it to Mandingo and shit like that, and it's really, really a low budget. You can't even say blaxploitation film because it isn't. It's a period piece set in New Orleans in 1835, and it was directed by Jack Weiss, who also directed Crypt of Dark Secrets. And like Crypt of Dark Secrets, you got a hot chick involved. What the hell was her name? Kathy McKee, who was the quadroon. The definition of a quadroon is a person who is 1/4 black. And they have a special thing for these quadroons as they basically sell them to Cajun men to supplement their wives because their wives don't put out, or some fucking ridiculous explanation like that anyway. But anyhow, this Yankee guy, Caleb, comes down and is watching a fight between two slaves orchestrated by this sadistic plantation owner named Dupree. So he runs foul of Dupree in the beginning, and that's only the segue. So now he lost all his money to Dupree and goes to see his friend Anton, who tells him about the wonders of the quadroon women and how they needed to be educated and taught. So he gets a job, basically teaching them. Of course, one of them is very hot and he falls for her, and her mother basically is going to sell her off to Dupree for the money. There's a whole bunch of shit going on. Dupree challenges Caleb to a duel. Dupree shoots but wounds him in the arm, and Caleb shoots the bullet over Dupree, basically insulting him, which starts a bunch of shit. So anyway, there's not much going on except a couple creepy slave auctions, some really not too attractive people, and the only name you might recognize in here is Bill McGee, who was basically the black patient in Don't Look in the Basement who favored popsicles. He did a couple other films, but that's about it. Anyway, they decide to run away. He admits he's in love with her, and they have, a hot, torrid love scene where she gets naked and shit like that. But it seems that her mother was never actually freed by her master, and now Dupree has found this and has put both women in auction. And he's claiming that he's going to buy this woman and pretty much do whatever he wants. And they start the auction, and the mother says, "Buy me and I can get her out." So anyhow, the woman goes for $5,000. Of course, Caleb doesn't have that kind of money, and Anton ponies up for the mother, and the mother makes this very weird arrangement where she basically swaps places with the daughter and is found out and is sentenced to be gangbanged to death by a bunch of black slaves. I've never seen a gangbang where everybody keeps their pants on, but whatever, that's what happens. So eventually Dupree catches up with the runaways and challenges Caleb to another duel and kills him. And also kills the Bill McGee character. And basically tells the woman that basically, "I know you're pregnant and I can sell your brat for a couple $100. And it's a real downbeat 70s type ending because this was 71. And pretty much the Code Red version of this is going for big money, as is this double feature piece of shit, so don't waste your money on it. I just told you something. The second feature on this is The Velvet Trap from 1966. A black and white so-called roughie featuring a waitress at a diner named Julie, and the diner is really cheesy looking. It only has like 6 stools, and these 2 truckers come in, and the whole counter is loaded with people as Julie is given a quarter to go play in the jukebox. And when she drops it in, the front of the jukebox lights up and exposes her body through her flimsy uniform, where all these guys are like standing there staring at her ass, and then when she turns around they duck. Well, anyway, she's living with this diner owner named Joe who tries to rape her, and does. And she escapes and goes with this photographer who claims he loves her, and they get married in Vegas, and she pays, and he takes a bunch of pictures of her, and she wakes up to discover that he's gone and her money's gone. So, a bunch of shit happens. She basically goes to a pawn shop to pawn her wedding ring and gets a bus ticket out of town, but somebody orchestrates a purse snatching, and the guy that orchestrates the purse snatching promises to drive her to Los Angeles because that's where she was heading, but instead takes her to this mansion out in the middle of nowhere and leaves her there, where she's basically forced to be a prostitute. And she's not down with this, but she has no money, nowhere to go. Prior to this, she was hired by somebody else to do these photos, and she was basically almost being raped by a guy, but she caves in his head with an ashtray. So she may be on the run at this point. They don't really clarify that. So anyway, she's told she can make a lot of money doing this, and she's dolled up and put with this drunken guy who complains he just had a bad ticker and wants what he paid for. He climbs on top of her and has a fucking heart attack. She dumps him off. He's laying on the floor. She runs out. She's running down the street and gets run over by a car. The end. Poor Julie. Well, like I said, don't waste your fucking money on this thing. This is total garbage. Like I said, Quadroon is nowhere closer to Mandingo. It's closer to Slaves on a low-budget thing, and it's really shitty. Both movies are really shitty. I ain't gonna fucking lie to you, but if you want to blow, I think I paid $12 for that fucking thing on Edward R. Hamilton Bookseller, and it's gonna go on eBay probably right after I finish this video. So that's our show for today. Thanks for subscribing. Thanks for tuning in. Above all, stay safe, and we'll catch you on the flip side.